Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk very briefly about what you're looking at right here, and then we're going to fire all four of these guns. Boom, 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 boom. That sound okay?
Sure.
All right, if that sounds okay, how about we wait a couple minutes and we do it again? We'll fire them again. Boom, boom, boom. Sound good? That's what we're going to do, okay? We'll talk a little bit about things in between the two shots. But very briefly, guys, what is this doing the 40th anniversary of this week?
Yorktown.
The surrender at Yorktown, the last major battle of the Revolutionary War. This Tuesday coming, the 19th of October, is the actual day of surrender. So at this time during the war, there's a lot of artillery going off around here at Yorktown, okay? We're going to make some of that happen today, all right? So first of all, what are we looking at? Down here on your right, you see a light 6-pounder brass battalion gun. You also see another 6-pounder brass battalion gun right here, a little different carriage, but they're the same size gun. Guns are direct fire weapons, they're straight shooters. We'll talk about projectiles in a minute. And those are battalion guns. So these are type of artillery pieces that move around with your infantry. They help you by firing at the enemy's infantry, like a field gun today. All right. Right here, I got a little 4.5-inch cohort mortar. That is an indirect fire weapon. You see it sits in a box. These guns here have elevations maybe 12 degrees maximum. This one's already sitting at 45. So that's what allows you to do what they call indirect fire, to fire over things, to get behind walls and things like that. This one right here is a howitzer. It's kind of a tweener between the mortar and the gun. It also fires bombs. These two weapons here fire bombs. We'll talk about it in a minute, but plunging fire. So think about the projectile going this way and then dropping. All right. So that's what you're looking at today. And compared to what was at Yorktown, a lot of this stuff here is very small considering what they had at Yorktown. So who's been through the museum already? All right, did you see that big brass cannon in there? That's a 24-pound. So that's as big as gun as they use at Yorktown. That is a siege gun that's designed to knock down people. Or not people, but things, okay? These are designed to knock down people. So you guys ready to see a couple of these go off?
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Guys, these things are gonna be loud. I do this a lot, so there's a little organization called OSHA you may have heard of. They make me wear earplugs. Did you guys bring yours? No. They look like hands. I'll let you know when to cover yours if you want to. If you've got a hearing assistance device, you want to turn that down or off. Now's the time to do that. Nobody can be sitting on the walls or shoulders, so that's good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give the command to prime and load these pieces. We're going to wait for everybody to get ready. Then we're going to do a battery fire from left to right. Go boom, 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 boom. Okay? All right. Gun captain, you ready? Everybody in position? Everybody ready? Prime and load!
Bombardier steer post. Mark!
Now you're going to see a lot of things going on. A good crew once the guns are in position. About 15 seconds of loading time for these types of artillery pieces right here. If you don't have to do any aiming or anything like that. Okay? So we'll just watch these guys and see what they're up to.
Prime!
Clear.
Handle in the back, constant. Right, right. Outside out. Outside out. Gun contract.
Nice running.
Ram down contract. Pick and drive. Ready?
All right, guys, you want to cover your ears? Now's the time. Take care of battery fire from left to right. Fire!
Fire!
Go ahead. Howitzer, fire! With the border, did anybody notice?
Yeah.
We have a little problem with the border. We're going to figure out what's going on with that. And we'll hopefully that'll go off next time. Guys, what just happened is we sent some stuff down towards the enemy. So let me talk about what some of that stuff looks like. So these two weapons on the end are called guns. Remember, they're direct fire weapons. And they fire something that looks like this. Who likes to watch movies? Anybody like to watch movies? Anybody ever seen The Patriot?
Yeah.
Remember that movie, how guys at that big battle at the end, they march around in the line, shoulder to shoulder, a couple of ranks, you see artillery like these two pieces here fired. And when this gets to that line, what do you normally see? A big old what? explosion and people go flying. It's really spectacular. So who wants to see how big an explosion 6 pounds actually makes? Anybody want to see that?
Yeah.
All right, one person said yes, that's all I need. Here we go. There it is. Now, either I'm crazy or that thing's not going off anytime soon. Which is it? Not going off anytime soon. I could also be crazy, so I appreciate you didn't say that. So, why is this not going off anytime soon? Right, guns do not fire bombs, they fire round shots. So I'm going to quickly tell you that if this hits you at a half a mile, I don't care if it's rolling or bouncing or hits you right square in the mush, this is going for you at a half a mile. And what it's going to do to you is impress all your friends standing next to you because pieces of you are flying all around the battlefield. Anybody think that's terrifying? What do people do when they're terrified?
Right.
They run. You know what happens when you run, don't you? You lost. When you turned the battlefield over to the enemy, they took it for you, they won the battle. Once you consider, even today with modern weapons, it's hard to shoot them all. And even today, battles are won by removing the enemy from the place of battle. You take that place and you win. So if I terrorized you with this stuff to the point that you left, I just won the battle, okay? It's hard to imagine guns like this at long distances. More times than not, you will scare more people with it than you will hurt with. Make sense?
Yeah.
Are you guys good troops or not?
Yeah.
Not exactly the response I was looking for. Let's try that one more time. You guys good troops or not?
Yeah.
All right, let's say you made a hole in your line right there. What are you going to do about that? Close it up and then what? You're just going to stand there and let me shoot at you? What are you going to do now?
Charge.
Oh, shoot back at me. Who wants to shoot back at me? Raise your hands. Right now, everybody over there should be going like this because I'm hurting you, right? So let's say you guys are good troops. You closed up your gaps, but your weapon has an effective range of 100 yards. Mine has an effective range of 1,200 yards. So what do you have to do?
Get closer.
You got to come towards me. So let's say you guys are good troops. You're walking through everything I'm doing. You got a regiment of about 300 guys, and now you're 300 yards away instead of 1,200 yards away. Right now, if I fire a gun that takes out a couple people at a time every 15 or 20 seconds, is that good math for me at this point?
Yeah.
No, because what are you guys getting ready to do to me? Run me over, okay? So I got a quick question for you. Let's say you're getting ready to be run over by 300 of the enemy. What would you do? What? How many runners are you? I heard you. Who's running? That's somewhat disappointing, but yes, there'll be times you get run over so fast that if you don't run, you will die. But if you run from your gun and leave it intact, what might happen to you? You get shot with your own gun. Who thinks that sounds like a bad day? Yeah. So what can we do about that? Say it again? Play dead? You know what happens sometimes you play dead, don't you? They walk through the battlefield and make sure with a bayonet. It might work, it might not, okay? Guys, let me show you the quickest way to disable your gun. It's called spiking the gun. At the back of the gun where you put the fuse in, it's called a vent hole. This will big old iron spike, drive that in the hole hard, break it off. The enemy has to use that gun. They have to drill this thing out first. So if you want to disable the gun, the easiest way is to spike the gun and then run. Hey guys, I got one other option I want to show you before we load these things up again and shoot them. What is this? Be honest, it's a tin can, right? Yeah. Now what's in the tin can is what's important, right? How about I put about 30 of these inside this tin can right here, like I did here. And then I put this little wood disc called a sabot on the end of it. Now how about I attach the bag full of powder over here and put that in the gun and fire it? Anybody know what you call this stuff right here?
Buckshot.
Canister is one word. Grape is a word. And you may hear the term case shot. When you fire this stuff in the gun, the can comes apart inside the tube. Everything sprays. I mean, this thing comes apart too. Everything sprays, leaves the battlefield, the muzzle, I should say, and sprays like a big old what?
Sharpnel.
Shotgun. Now, how many guys can I take out with canister? So why don't we use that all the time? Sounds pretty impressive, doesn't it?
Close.
Yeah, this is only good for 300 yards. If you got to use canister today, how well's your day going so far? But could this stuff possibly save your day? Yes, it did. So that's what I fire out of my gun. Very briefly, my mortar and howitzer fire a bomb. Now, this is a small bomb. Bombs are hollow iron projectiles. You put gunpowder in there. Your fuse is a tapered wooden piece like this. It's drilled through the center. You put your powder and quick match in there. It's going to be hard for everybody to see, but there are timing marks on that. Everybody see that? Like a second at a time. So the shorter you cut this fuse, the sooner the bomb's going to go off, the longer you leave it, the longer it takes. What has to happen is this. Put powder in here, cut your fuse, put it in there, tap it in, put this in the mortar, shim it up so it's square in the tube, light the mortar. The propelling power is going to send this thing about a half a mile away. Hopefully the flash from that will envelop the bomb and light the fuse as it's leaving. What's going to happen then is the fuse is burning, touches the powder inside the case blows apart, shrapnel goes everywhere, what you call shrapnel today. It's actually a very specific load from our time period, but you get the idea. That's what this little Cohorn fires. It's a 4.5-inch mortar. This thing weighs 9 pounds. At Yorktown, the French had a couple of 13-inch mortars. The bombs weighed 190 pounds. Some of the British talk about bombs landing in the river and going off a couple minutes later and still having enough destructive force to kill people standing on the shoreline and in houses close to the shoreline, okay? Or bombs going off and seeing stuff flying through there that used to be, you know what I'm saying, right? I won't get too graphic here because we've got a lot of youngins here. So that's what we're firing. Think about here at Yorktown. When we opened up the second parallel, we had about 100 pieces of artillery on line firing at the British. All these types of artillery right here. Averaged about a shot a minute at Yorktown over the course of almost 9 days. Over 15,400 rounds were fired at the British here at Yorktown. All right? Everybody want to see these things go off again?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to do it again? That order gonna work this time?
It will, sir.
Everybody ready? Private load!
Bombardier, clear back. Take the base, go to the page. All right. Bunch of pairs. Move. Hey, ready. Movement, cartridge. Handle and advance cartridge.
So again, it's kind of quite a process, yes? I get a good crew. Once the gun is in position, because every time these guns fire in real world with a big charge in them, they recoil. They roll away from where they were. Actually, the first thing you got to do is haul them back into position. Okay? Or if you've had an earthwork, they roll backwards. That allows you to load them. Then you shove them back up through the what they call the brains of the earthworks, little openings for the gun muzzle to go through so they can fire at the enemy.
Guns ready to fire, sir. Ready.
Take care, battery fire from left to right. Fire!
Fire!
So that motor does make noise, yes? Yes. It does, okay. Again, what I want you to realize, that was 4 small pieces of artillery with small charges of powder. The big guns at Yorktown had 24 pounders. These 2 guns on the end would use as much as 2 pounds of powder for one shot. The 24 pounder, about 8 pounds of gunpowder for one shot. Now again, on the last day of the siege, around 100 pieces of artillery on line. Those big 24 pounders at Yorktown can only be fired once every 10 minutes, otherwise the barrels would droop from the heat, believe it or not. All that being said, as slow as these things load, the firing rates and all that, imagine averaging a shot a minute at the British for 9 days with this stuff right here. Okay? As that concludes that demonstration, we'll do this again at 2:30. If you have any questions, come up to see me. We're going to open this up. You want to come up and have pictures taken by the gun, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys coming out. You have a good day.